Welcome to the State of the Market with knowledgeable realtor Scott Zaino. Sit back and relax as Scott lifts the curtain on Cape Cod's real estate stats. Buckle up and let's dive in. This is your monthly State of the Market report.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another State of the Market ending June 2026. We hope everybody had a fabulous and safe July 4th. I know we did, with the family and the kids playing in the pool, having all the barbecues and everything. It was great weather, right? Three beautiful days here on Cape Cod in the 90s, something we don't see too often. So we have some really exciting news for you today. I'm going to be going over the different sectors as usual, and we're going to go back in time from today, and then I'm going to show you and share with you what the numbers were for January of 2026, because we're halfway through the year, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. So we still got six more months left in the year. But let's see how the numbers are looking in terms of just 6 months ago. So if you bought something 6 months ago, maybe what's your position today? And if you didn't buy something 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, or 3 months ago, perhaps take a closer look at these numbers, because the numbers are legit and the numbers don't lie, right? They're right from our MLS, and they're very, very accurate. So with that, on that note, I'm going to go right into my screen share, and I am going to pull up the first sector, which is the number of listings, right? So the number of active listings for June was 1,106. Well, what was it last month, Scott? It was 1,093. So it went up about 13 properties. So we'll call that a push. But let's take a look at January, right? January, it was 739 listings. So since January, we've increased over the last 6 months about 367 properties, right? That doesn't surprise me because it's spring market, more properties come on the market, right? Let's go over and check out our next sector. So this is average, sold average price for June was 988, 395. The average sale price for Cape Cod and the islands from Plymouth to P-Town, 988, 395. What was it last month, Scott? It was about 917. So the average price point increased just under $50,000 in 1 month. Okay, let's see what it did in January. So January, the average sale price was 919. Today, it's 988, 395. That's an increase of about $69,000 over a 6 month period. Is it safe to say that that's about a $10,000 monthly increase for the last 6 months? I would say that's safe to say. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, uh, this is the perfect time to do so. And I always share with all my buyers that, stay within your means. If you're approved for 700,000, 800,000, that doesn't mean you have to buy an $800,000 house. You can buy something for a little less and fix it up and do some sweat equity, right? Let's talk about the next sector, which is your sales to list price ratio. So the sales to list price ratio basically tells us as agents and sellers and buyers what properties are going for, and what the percentage of them are selling compared to the list price. So for June, the end of June, the sale to list price ratio was 98.3. So if you put your house on the market for $1 million, it's safe to say that you might get 980,000. You might get more, you might get a little less. These are averages. So 98.3. Okay. For May, it was 98.5. So, it went down like 0.2 of a point. I would consider that a push. But let's take a look at January. So January of 2026, just 6 months ago, it was 96.8. So that was in the colder months when there was maybe less activity, less buyers out there, maybe the interest rates were up a little bit higher, and it was at 96.8. So if you put your house on the market back in January, you probably would have gotten on average about 960 compared to about 980 today. Is it a good time to list your house? Yes, it's a great time to list your house. So that was a difference of about a 1.5% more uh, percentage of sale to list price ratio was about a 1.5% gain from today versus 6 months ago. All right, let's talk about days on market. So days on market, the average for June was 39, and in May it was 40. So let's consider that a push, right? That's the amount of time it usually takes for a property to go under contract, days on market, right? So let's see what was happening in January when things might have been a little slower, or a little colder, or maybe the rates were up a little bit higher. And that was 68 days, right? So in the last 6 months, you can see this bell curve here that the days on market have gone from 68 back in January to 40, 39 or 40 days for your days on market. Okay. So the houses are selling quicker. That doesn't surprise me. Rates have come down a smidge, and inventory is better, and the weather is better, and there's more people out buying. That's just the facts. Okay, more people come out in the nicer weather than they do in the colder weather. Right. Let's talk about months of supply, months of inventory. So months of inventory tells us what type of market we're in. It's either a buyer's market, which is 6 months or more, a neutral market, maybe 5 months, and a seller's market, which is 4 months of inventory or less, right? So let's take a look here. So for the end of June, we were sitting at 2.5 months of inventory. So that would be a seller's market, right? Because it's below 4. In May, it was 3. So it was creeping up towards more of a neutral market, but then it went back down again because inventory dropped and more houses went under contract. Let's take a look and see what it was in January. So January was about 3 months of inventory as well, and so that's kind of a push. So the months of inventory have stayed pretty much over the last 6 months as about under 3 months of inventory, which is a seller's market, right? All right, let's see if I can share my screen real quick. And I want to show you guys the, well, let's just do this. Let's just talk about the interest rates, okay? I can't get my screen to pull up right now. So interest rates for today, 30-year fixed is about 6.5. Okay. 15 years is 5.88. A 30-year FHA is 6.29. And a 30-year Veterans Administration is 6.35. And a jumbo is around 6.5%, 6.5. I get all my interest rates from bankrate.com/mortgages if you want to look them up and see. Do you think interest rates are going to go down or up, Scott? Just my personal opinion. I personally think they're going to go up before they come back down under 6. And the reason I say that is because of inflation and jobs, right? So inflation is right now, it's about 4%. They like to keep it between 2 and 3. If they drop the rates, inflation would go through the roof. So unfortunately, I think you're going to see 6.75 here in the next maybe 30 or 60 days, and maybe even tip 6.99. I don't know. My guess is as good as yours, but I'm just trying to make some good, informed, educated decision on what's going to happen to give you guys the right information, because we want you to be the smartest agents and sellers, right? And buyers at that closing time and closing table, knowing that you made the smartest decision for one of the biggest decisions of your life. So there you have it for the end of June 2026 state of the market. I'm Scott Zaino, Scott Zaino Group at Keller Williams Luxury Real Estate. If you have any questions, please give me a call, 508-566-0051. Shoot me an email at sjzano@gmail.com. And thank you so much for all your viewership and the attendance and questions and letters and texts and emails and things that I get throughout the month about the market. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much and have a good day.